Now, M&A activity in the technology, media and telecommunications space is picking up. Recently, Powerfleet sealed a 3.5 billion rand takeover of Fleet Complete, with RMB providing majority financing for the deal. Joining me now to discuss the merits behind this deal and to give us a general overview on the trends playing out in the sector is the co-head of TMT at RNB, Arun Varughese. Arun, thanks so much for your time today. Now, Powerfleet has been on an acquisition spree, buying out local company Mix Telematics and recently picking up Fleet Complete. RNB involved in both of those deals. As we get started, Arun, just walk us through RMB's involvement and the reasoning behind backing these deals.
Sure. It's a pleasure to be here today. So I think the way we think of it from RMB in terms of the TMT sector is that we like to back companies that have got great growth profiles, great profit trajectories, and that generally sort of drive digitization and connectivity on the continent. So that's sort of the ethos at RMB. And Powerfleet, we think, is a structural winner in the IoT space. So Powerfleet, through its mergers with Mix Telematics and with Fleet Complete, has become one of the largest autonomous IoT players in the world. And basically, in terms of the service they provide, is they provide Fleetmatics. So as a large corporate, you're able to monitor your fleet for safety, for speed, for efficiency. They've got in-warehouse solutions. And basically, the holistic set of solutions allows a corporate to become more efficient and in effect, save money and pass that value along to both customers and to shareholders. So when we think IoT stands for Internet of Things. And one of the things driving this massive connectivity is the adoption of 5G, 4G, and sort of reduction in data. So everything around you in your world is now becoming connected. And players like Powerfleet are similarly enabling that connectivity globally. So we're very proud to have backed the company in its acquisitions.
So you touched on it a bit. You did say that RMB is very bullish on Powerfleet, but I just want to get a general sense of RMB's sentiment on the TMT sector as a whole.
Sure. So look, we are very bullish on TMT on the continent, and it's been a sector that's grown extremely well for us. And I think if you take a step back and understand the secular trends behind why we say that, Africa's got 1.3 billion people on the continent, but still a staggering 600 million people apparently do not have internet, right? And there are places like in the DRC where only 3% have internet connectivity. So we see a long runway for people simply getting access to the internet. And the second element behind this is that just in your daily life and in mine, we're using more and more data from everything from streaming to apps, from education to health to entertainment. So the growth in data and the requirements is exponential. Now, to support this growth in data, you need infrastructure and services. And that is essentially what RMB is backing, driving connectivity and digitalization on the continent. So with all the undersea cables, the towers, the data centers, fiber, all this hyperscalers and service providers coming in, we think there'll be a large rush onto the continent to try and connect all 1.3 billion people with cheap access to data and connectivity. So that's a real secular trend that we really feel quite bullish of, and Africa is simply catching up to the rest of the world.
Now, talking about access to the internet and connecting people around the African continent, the Competition Tribunal just blocked the Vodacom Massive deal, and Massive did say that they were going to use some of those funds to invest in internet access in rural areas in the country. How much of a curveball does this throw to the industry in terms of consolidation?
Look, I think consolidation is always a tricky sort of topic.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got to consider the competition effects for consumers, but also consider the operators themselves. And if you look globally, most markets have 2 or 3 MNOs. Most markets have a few infrastructure players. And the reason is that consolidation does work because it provides scale and efficiency to these operators, greater access to sort of balance sheet funding, etc., which enables them to deliver the services. So there are benefits from a scale perspective. If you're thinking about fiber in South Africa is open access. So I suppose the argument made by Vodacom and CIVH was that this merger only enhances the sort of connectivity in the country and doesn't prohibit competition. So obviously, for reasons that the tribunal is still going to come out with, they've come out and said it actually prohibits competition. Now, this does throw a bit of a dark cloud over the industry, because what does this mean for future M&A?
Yeah.
Will the tribunal allow future, sort of competitors to merge, even if they are number 5, 6, 7, 8 in the market? And like you said, fiber is a very capital-intensive industry. It requires billions of rands to dig into the ground to lay the fiber, and at some point you need access to capital.
Yeah.
And that access to capital has to come from either competitors or equity providers. So the question around M&A and the Competition Commission allowing such transactions is something that we've got to resolve for the future of the industry.
Arun, unfortunately, we've run out of time. It'll be interesting to see how everything unfolds there, as it's said that Vodacom could appeal the decision. Thanks so much for your time and those insights. That was Arun Varughese from RMB.